Hey guys, this is Megacore Magnetizer 6989. This came out about 25 years ago, in 1990, as part of the M-Tron space theme. This is definitely a classic set, probably one of the top 10 space sets that LEGO's ever produced. And that's in part due to several things such as its massive stance, its great use of color, its exclusive parts, and its playability. So we'll go over each of those aspects in this review. The first thing I wanted to point out is the aesthetics. This set is massive. I mean, it's huge. You can see the minifigures in there and just see how they're dwarfed by the vehicle itself. The wheels themselves are at least 2 minifigures high. Take that gigantic stance and place it with this awesome sci-fi aesthetic with the humongous windshield, the utilitarian crane and crates. Give it almost this Sid Mead-like design philosophy where it's functional, yet it's still sci-fi. It still has a purpose. And that philosophy, and I admit it's a bit weird calling it a philosophy, but it still rings true to LEGO in itself, because with LEGO you can create a new functional part by just simply reutilizing or retrofitting a pre-existing part, which is exactly what they did here with the windshield. That part is mainly used just for a dome wall that you see in many of the command base sets from the space theme like Ice Planet and Explorians, etc. But this is the only time that this part has ever been utilized as a windshield. By simply rotating the part onto its side and attaching it to a bumper, you create this really unique looking windshield that fits really well with the vehicle. It complements the gigantic stature of the vehicle, and it's in that awesome transparent fluorescent green color, which we have to thank M-Tron for because they were the theme that introduced that color to the public. Overall, this set has so much going for it in terms of design and aesthetics. The unique parts that are only available in this set, the color selection, that sparse black, the dominant red, and the occasional splashes of fluorescent green really make this set stand out from your other space sets. The play functionality in this set is really awesome too. The crates are removable, and you can remove them in 2 ways. I'll show you that in just a moment. You can lift this satellite dish up and lift up the windshield to remove the minifigures. That's a really cool function. There's also the crane itself, and of course this is M-Tron, so you gotta have magnets. And you could use the crane to attach the crate and rotate the crane itself to transport it down to the bottom or pick it up and put it back onto the 8x8 plates with grill there. The crane is a little bulky. There's a couple ways you could either just grab the crane itself or you can use the wheel on the side to rotate it. But there's a lot of magnets in the set to attach it to. My favorite functionality though has to be grabbing the satellite dish on the top there and using it to rotate the vehicle itself as a steering control essentially. It's a lot of fun to just grab the top of the vehicle like that and turn it around, and it gives you a sense of control and functionality. It's a really well thought out play feature, and as simple as it is actually quite fun to play with. And on top of the vehicle we have a radar dish that you could spin around. There's these vehicles that can come out of the sides that also have magnets, so you can also attach them with the crane. And here's what the inside of the crates look like. They're just simple. The crates themselves have some neat features. You got some printed tile, and we flip this up, there's some wrenches and you can attach hoses to the minifigures and have them put out a fire or whatever storyline you like to play out with these. And here's the hatch. If you lift up both of those arms there and flip out the exhaust ports, you get the hovercraft. And it's just a really simple build. You can just fly it around, and then when you're done you can simply store it away. For those playing at home, here are the exclusive parts for Megacore Magnetizer. With the exception of one, all of these parts are exclusive to this set. So here's 2409, which is that gigantic windshield piece. Again in that lovely transparent fluorescent green, neon green color. Next up we have 2573, which is that giant plastic wheel. This part was designed for this set initially, and then it was retired for 12 years. LEGO brought this part back to life in 2002 when they used it for the exhaust ports, in the Ultimate Collector Series Star Wars Star Destroyer. Now this Technic rack part, it's appeared in one other set in red. However, this is the last time it appeared in red, and it's a pretty hard to find part, especially in mint condition. We also have this inverted windshield part. This is the very last time it ever appeared in a set, and this is the only time it appears in red. And now we have the plate 8x8 with the grill there. I really love this. This is in a red color. Sometimes LEGO likes to produce parts in red while they're prototyping new designs and whatnot, and that's basically just red's just an easy color to see if there's any flaws with the mold or the ABS quality. So that's what it kind of reminds me in this regard. This is a really neat part. It goes along with the other M-Tron sets that also have that lattice design as well. There are some complaints with the set, but they're very, very minor in the whole scheme of things. The instructions are typical of your 90s LEGO set. They're somewhat vague in some steps, so you have to look really, really carefully to make sure you're not missing any plates or bricks that they sneak in there. Overall, it's not a huge deal, but it's just a precaution that I feel should be mentioned. You may have difficulty displaying this set because it's on wheels, so you want to make sure it's secured, or otherwise it will roll off and crash into a billion pieces, which has happened to me before. Since that's a possible concern, you may scratch up the windshield. Those transparent parts are pretty easy to scratch up. However, I highly recommend Novus plastic polish. It's really, really useful and brings back those transparent parts back into a nice mint condition. The crane is a little bit awkward. It sits on a turntable and some hinge plates. So if you want to lower anything, you have to lift the hinge plates up, which brings it at a 45-degree angle. The combination of it rotating around a turntable while rotating on hinge plates is a little bit awkward. It's not the worst thing ever, but sometimes it's just easier to lift the vehicles out of their compartments rather than having to use the magnet system. But the magnets are still pretty strong, and even while they're not being attached, you can influence the polarity of the magnets by moving the crane around, which is a cool effect. Hands down, this is one of the best sets LEGO has ever produced for the space theme. If you love M-Tron, you gotta pick this set up for your collection. It's an absolute no-brainer. It just screams awesomeness. Just looking at it, you want to pick it up and play with it and tow vehicles around. Unlike the other space themes, M-Tron never had a base or command center to call home, so they made the Megacore Magnetizer their home, and it is definitely a set just as worthy as the other giant command center sets that LEGO Space is known for. Again, I can't recommend this set enough. It's definitely, without a doubt, one of the best space sets that LEGO's ever produced. It's even in the great LEGO Sets book that just recently came out. If you can, pick up this set. It's a must. I hope you liked the video. If you want, go ahead and give a like or post a comment below. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.